Welcome to the 2024 end of the show for the Killer Comic Show. At the end of the show, 2024.
Sure.
I'm in a bit of I didn't realise I couldn't remember if Andy could see me, so when we're loading.
I can see you as well. I can see you as well.
Oh yeah, because you've got the old bloody didgeridoo thing now, haven't you? So
certainly have. Yeah.
There we go. How are we all doing, lads? Last Thursday that we have to enjoy or pretend to enjoy each other's company for the viewers, and then the 4 people that show up every week. So how are we all doing? We good?
Good.
I'm all right.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm sorry, I was just waiting for the tumbleweeds to go by. But no, it's the last show. It's been we've over 5 years we've been doing this show now. So when it comes to the end, we think it's the end. People leave, they come back, they leave, they come back, and then they leave, and we don't let them back. That's kind of how we do things. But we're here. Us 3 are still here from the start. Up first, we have DVH. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining me. Fuzzy, let's get rambling ramblers. There we go, indeed. And then we've got Dead Man. What are reviewers? Don't know. We suss lot. We review. We tell you what's good and what's not, and then we kind of just talk shit for another hour. Is that what you want to do? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, go for it. Let's
Is
live
Andy
a little.
Is Andy still with you? Are you awake, Andy?
Is he?
I'm ready to speak when I'm spoken to. I'm just letting Charlie go with the flow, you know.
Good man.
Keep on going.
Yeah. So it's been a good year for comics. It's been a good year for the show. We've had Thought Bubble. You lot have met up more times than not to share ice creams, to share the love of alcohol, and more ice creams and comic knowledges. But how has this week been for you guys? You been all right?
Very busy for me. I don't know about you, Peter, but I thought work you were meant to go slow as you lead to Christmas, but it seems that everybody wants their pound of flesh. So yeah, it's been a busy week, but I finish up tomorrow, and Christmas shall begin for me.
Nice. Bit mental busy for me at the moment. So in case you aren't aware, the NHS is frigging horrific at the moment. Don't get sick. EDs are horrendous, and one of the busiest we've had. So yeah, very, very busy at the moment. But I'm at work next week. I'm off the bank holidays, and then I'm off for a full week after that. So chuffed to bits. Looking forward to that. And I've got my work night out tomorrow. Hey!
Ooh, for those that don't have the medical knowledge, does ED stand for emergency department?
It certainly does, Charles.
Oh, look. You can tell when I was drunk and diabolical in my youth, that's where I spent the majority of my time.
Taking EDs.
Taking EDs and popping PEP. There it goes. So, but so I break up tomorrow, last day, and then I'm back on the 6th, and then straight into the full of 2025. I can't believe we're at the end of the year already. It's been a fun year. It's been a fun year, but I'm going to stop rambling now, because for the last time, we're going to pretend to be friends for at least 6 minutes, and then we're going to talk about the killer covers that we've picked for the end of the show. Gosh. That's it.
I love that little.
That's it. We're not friends no more for Killer Covers December 18th, which was New Comic Book Day yesterday. You two can be quiet for 2 seconds while I take a breath and introduce this part of the show. For the 6 people watching, this is the part of the show where us 3 pick our killer covers that we loved that came out for New Comic Book Day, which for you comic noobs out there was yesterday. New Comic Book Day is on a Wednesday. We review it on a Thursday. All right? Enough said. Jumping straight in. Up first.
Let's start from the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. For the 5 of you that are watching, for the millions that are going to watch on the rewind, I went for DC's Dark Knights of Steel All Winter issue number 5. Cover B by the fantastic, the phenomenal, the underrated, in my opinion, Bjorn Barends. I decided, guys, I was going to go for something a little bit different, and also because you guys picked the covers that I would have probably picked. But this was a close third, and I think this is phenomenal. And do you know what this reminded me of? Tom. What?
Yes.
Tom's chopper.
Do you know what? I've actually been reading this book, and it's actually okay. But this cover is bloody awesome. I think it's great. I like the perspective on it. I like the fact that he looks like an absolute devilish devil. He looks. Do you know what he looks like? He reminds me of God of War, the computer game God of War.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Bjorn Berens is what you said. He is very underrated. Like he's incredible. If you check him out on his Instagram, he's done some amazing stuff. So I have to take my hat off to you, Andy. I think Fuzzy, or I think it might have been Phil's Nerdiverse, mentioned that he's got a massive bulge, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That's all I'm looking at.
It's that strategically placed loincloth as well. So fair play to you, Bjorn. And can I just wait, Fuzzy? I think it's the other way about, to be honest with you. Yeah, we'll talk afterwards. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I was briefed before we went live that I wasn't allowed to be miserable this week, so nothing but praise, nothing but positivity. I love a good chopper, love a good bulge. He's sexy, ripped abs and tats. I'm presuming it's Deathstroke from an alternate reality.
What about the cover, Peter?
I was just talking about you. Yeah, he's got a lovely shiny hat. No, that's too easy. Yeah, no, I think it's nice. It is a nice cover. I like this cat. This is, you know how you sometimes. I think my choices. I can't speak. I think I've had a stroke. My choices sometimes. I'm not a big fan of the same kind of covers all the time. This is my kind of art. This is the kind of stuff I would be attracted to. Yeah, I like this. I think this is very cool. Very cool.
Do you know what would be very, very interesting? We should all pick blank covers one week and see what one wins. That'd be interesting, because then it'd be who like what the actual viewers think is a good cover. Think about it. Yeah, think about it. If there's 3 blank covers, technically none of us should get any votes.
Charlie, we don't get any votes anyway.
Mate, you know what? I'm just trying to think outside the box. I'm just trying to think outside the box.
2025 is going to be a good year, isn't it? So watch the show. We're going to be
blank covers.
There we go. Look, he's great, but everything is the same sepia grey tinge. Give us some colour. Are we talking about Pete's camera, or what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? And then we've got panels in a half pint. Good evening, so how you doing, mate? Nothing like entering a show with Triple G talking about bulges and shiny heads. There we go. And there we go. Fast and loose with very interesting there, Charlie. See what I mean? Thank you very much. It is interesting. See, think outside the box, my little nugget. But I do like this cover, mate. I like the shiny helmet. I like the fact that it's Deathstroke in an alternate universe. I like it. I think it's dark.
Look at the background as well. I don't think these are fully. I don't think you're drinking this cover in, guys. To be honest with you, look at that background. It's beautiful. It's like a wintry sort of, a frosty evening.
Tremendous.
Fire and bells on the tree. It's time to rejoice. No,
let's just see.
Votes, to be honest.
Mistletoe and wine. Is that what? Is that a bit of Cliff Richard?
No, is it Cliff?
It's Cliff, isn't it?
Yes, it might be Cliff. It might be Sir Cliff. Sir Cliff. After that rendition, I feel like I want to jump off of one. So there we go. I said jump off of one, not on one. That's another show. So yes, that's cover B by Bjorn Berens. This is Dark Knights of Steel, or Winter issue number 5. Up next.
Ooh, look at that. So this is Nightwing 121 cover B by friend of the show and Charlie's best bud, Dan. You see, I'm just saying Dan because I probably won't be able to pronounce his name. Is it Panacea?
Panacean.
Yeah. Panosian. Yeah. That's what I said. So yeah, it's a bit of a negative space variant going on there. I do like a negative space, but I just think the way he captures sexy, shiny black latex is just friggin' phenomenal. I don't know how he gets the sheen to it. Do you know what I mean?
What a word.
I just think the blue on this cover pops out. Is it the best chin? I'm not sure, but I do like a bit of Nightwing. I just think it looks phenomenal. It jumps off the page to me.
Do you know what else jumps off the page? That cover is that good that I would imagine if you could give it just a little gentle rub, it would squeak.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are we talking about the cover?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what? Right, everyone knows like Dan the Man is my favourite artist. I think he's great.
My friend.
He's my friend. I talk to him on a regular. I'm not going to lie. And I just before we go on to this, massive shout out to him. So he's done Alice Never After, the Tales of Alice in Wonderland. He's now going to be doing The Last Boy. So it's his take on the Peter Pan, the Neverland story and stuff like that. Nice. I was privy to that about 3 months ago. Didn't say anything. He played everyone. He kind of put a red herring up on his Instagram and he had a capture shot of the actual cover of it. Didn't say anything about it. But he wants to come on the show early next year to kind of do the show again with us and just talk about his comics. He's going to engage in like the Killer Comics. He's going to do his pick and stuff like that. So that'd be good. But yeah, I think he's been. We'll get onto it later in the show, but I think he's absolutely been smashing out his covers lately. I think he's been featured in about 5 or 6 consistent shows. I think Andy's picked one, I've picked one. He's wicked.
I'm a big Nightwing fan in general, and this is probably one of the best Nightwing covers I think I've seen. I really like this one.
Charlie?
Yes.
A secret from us?
Well, but I didn't want to let it go until I had something else to give you, so I'm not saying anything else on that. I'm not saying anything else on that.
You're one with the
all right,
wind.
that's it. But yes, Deadman has also said he looks like a serial killer smiling after a kill. And Fuzz has said this is the first Nightwing comic I've ever bought. He's got a Detective Comics coming in February. That is phenomenal. It is indeed. I honestly think I might get put to the stake for this, but I think this negative cover is better than JTC.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. No, I agree, Charlie. I agree. I think this is...
Really? Andy, do you disagree?
If it wasn't for John Tyler Christopher doing negative covers, we probably wouldn't have had this cover. That's all you need to know.
I get that, but it still doesn't deter from the fact that this is better.
Yeah.
I mean...
Because it works. The negative space works in it. We've seen some tripe negative spaces that just don't... It just... Yeah, I love it. Love it.
This episode is fast becoming a musical. There we go. Well, what we can do, we can put you in the front seat, Sean, and then we can get you a little booster seat so you can actually see over the stage, and then you might be able to see the musical. But there we go. And his cityscapes and buildings are the best you'll see. His backgrounds are tremendous. Yes, they are. So this is night one. So Andy, what do you think of this?
Sorry.
Terrible. Okay, moving on. So, is there anything? Have you got anything else to comment, or is that it?
It's all right.
Okay, cool. So this is Nightwing 121. Up next, we have Vicarious, main cover by Dan Panosian. Again, this is my pick. Absolutely amazing. It featured in FOC. I picked this up. I picked up issue number 2 and issue number 3 as well. I'm going to let you speak for yourself. The fact that it looks like Rihanna is even more awesome. So, yes, this comic's been pretty decent. Written by Ryan Parrott. Everyone knows him from Power Rangers. And it's a bloody good cover. I'm interested to see what you guys think.
Gorgeous.
Enough about me. What do you think about the cover?
Vicarious. I think this is stunning. It's great. It's a fantastic perspective. The eyes, it's all in the eyes. But again, I don't. It just Dan seems to have went to a different level. I don't know if it's maybe I just wasn't concentrating enough on his covers, but it just feels to me like 2024. He's just went to a new level and
stepped up a level.
Stepped up a level. I mean, I'm putting a lot of that down to the fact that you guys are close friends, and he draws inspiration a lot from you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Charlie's probably been giving him tips. I would have thought.
Giving him what?
As if.
Well, at it, yeah.
Yeah. There we go. And look, Fuzzy has said he's been reading this series, cracking cover too. I think he has, and I think it literally kind of happened overnight. He's always been good. He's always been great, but it's just literally, as you said, Andy, the levels have just gone up off the scale.
Do
which
we
is
know? I mean, you will know Charlie, being a close personal friend. Is he a traditional artist or is he a digital artist?
traditional. He does, like, if you follow him over on X or Twitter, whatever it used to call, he used to do these sketches of like these Andy, what were they called? I think he spoke about like these little drawings that he did of the black crows and stuff.
Black Crows, yeah, I can't remember what he called them, but yeah, that was like his sort of daily sketching
Yeah.
practice sort of thing. He'd sort of knock one of those out every morning.
And he
Excuse me.
did this incredible Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cover, and he put the black line sketch on his Instagram, and me and Andy both said it's one of the best covers we've ever seen.
Impressive, very impressive. I love this cover. I have to say, I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm not reading the story, but I'm liking the way on this cover. I'm presuming it's something to do with the character. One eye is kind of a bright yellow. I don't know if that's to do with the character or what, but I just think that really makes it stand out.
Yeah,
like it.
But no, it is awesome. Awesome. So that is the 3 covers. They are now up on the chat on YouTube. Place your vote, and this is for the ultimate winner of 2024. So whoever wins this wins 2024. Okay,
is that another secret that you've kept from us?
Yeah. It's the one that I've literally just decided now because I've had a Guinness. Whoever wins this wins 2024. So I think I only had 6 votes. I think you and Pete were pretty much tied. So whoever wins this, it's basically like last goal wins.
Guys, I'm sure you'll agree. Getting to spend time with each other every Thursday. Okay, most Thursdays we're all winners. All right, Peter?
We are all winners.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So with that said, with that vicarious message from Triple G there, we're not quite sure where we stand. We have one comic that we was reviewing this week, and this is the week 50 review. This was the one that got the most votes over on the community chat this week, and this was Peter's pick, and it is Ultimate Universe 1 year in, issue number 1. There are a load of comic covers out this week, but we've kind of gone for the top 4. We've got the main cover, which was by Raphael Albuquerque. We have the Marco Chicheco variant. We've got the second printing by Ivan Teo, and we have the Sad Lemon. This was kind of like a spoiler cover, to be fair. The Inyuk Lee variant cover. This was written by Chris Condon, and the art was done by Alessandro Capuccio, and it's available in stores now. Peter, this was your pick. Would you like to take us away first?
Yeah, so this is Ultimate Universe issue 1, or 1 year in issue 1. So it's kind of coming at the end of the first year of the relaunch of the Ultimate Universe. A bit of a jumping on point, I guess, for people. I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man. I think you guys have read some of it as well. I read a few issues of the other Ultimate lines. Didn't get away with Black Panther. Kind of obeyed X-Men and all the rest of it. And I haven't been reading the main Ultimates line. I've jumped in now and then. So I kind of went into this blind. Not going to lie, picked it up because of all the hype about the new Ultimate Wolverine being in it. I think that does this book a disservice. I know why they've kind of shouted about it, because that'll get people through the door, as it were, looking at it for it's the first appearance and all the rest of it. That story at the end, which introduces Ultimate Wolverine, is all right. But the first story, which is all Nick Fury centric, I friggin' loved. I just loved everything about it. I thought the artwork was good. It had some interesting imagery that I'm assuming is linked to the Ultimates that I didn't understand. So like people's faces were blocked out, and there was
we don't have any pages. We don't have any pages to talk about this week.
And there was weird little things in kind of flying carts, which I didn't know what the hell was going on with them. But the overall story is about Nick Fury gathering all of the new warlords, as it were, of the Ultimate Universe, who all work for the Maker, onto the helicarrier. And he's chatting away with him, and you get his backstory. Basically, you get how he's been the Maker's kind of assassin, really, for years. I thought the opening scene with the guy at the barbecue, who's basically at some point said, "Do you think these guys might have a point?" And he gets hit by lightning. I thought that was just friggin' amazing. I'm not going to spoil it for people. Bit of a twist at the end that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Do you know what? It's a while since I've read a Nick Fury book. I think Marvel screwed the character over when they kind of made him the man on the wall and all that kind of stuff after the original Sin miniseries. It's a while since I've read a good Nick Fury story, and this really, really kind of got my juices flowing for a bit more Nick Fury spies and espionage and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was great. I loved the kind of the not a lot of detail, but just one panel shots of like shooting power pack kids in the back and stuff like that. I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it.
Anything that gets Peter's juices flowing is always going to be a good read.
My age, they don't flow very often, so it takes a bit of work to get them. Yeah, dry. Yeah.
There we go. I was a little bit confused with this comic. I read it and I was like, I don't know if I'd missed something. Now, obviously, I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man, which for me, along with Avengers Twilight, has been some of the best stuff Marvel put out this year. So I was kind of thinking that with it saying Ultimate Universe, I know we've had Ultimate Black Panther and there's various other ones. I've only read the Spider-Man. The Ultimate Black Panther I didn't get into, and I think I spoke to you guys about it. It just didn't do what I think they intended it to do. And again, it was convoluted. It didn't make sense. It was all over the place. With this, I like the fact that it was a Nick story, but I felt like I was missing a prelude.
Right.
I kind of didn't understand, and I was kind of, obviously it gives you the prelude at the front, and it says like the maker, and they created this universe, and Tony Howard Stark trapped him in this bubble, and he's got another like 1,000 years or anything like that. And I thought they would have touched on that a bit more, because obviously going into the first panel where they kind of electrocuted this guy and he went up in a ball of flames and stuff like that. They started talking about the terrorist. He's a terrorist, like we're looking for terrorists. And I kind of just, it would have been good to have been given an overarch of what's going on, because the next thing you know, Nick Fury's there talking to these warlords and everything's broken down. So the Hulk is now in charge of Asia. You've got Omega Man, or is his name's Omega Man from X-Men? Red Omega? Omega Man.
Omega Red.
Yeah, Omega Red. So they're all different names. They're not called names. They're all different things. And obviously I know this is in an alternative universe, but I would have kind of liked to know how it was touching on that. I think the artwork was good in it. I did enjoy it. I just feel like the main thing for this was that I felt like I was missing something. And I didn't know if I needed to read, because they redid the Ultimates this year. I didn't know if I needed to read that. And it's clear I did. The best bit for me was the twist at the end. Totally didn't see that coming. Like, I honestly, and it played on it because he sees him kind of looking at his watch from the start of the comic. And I was like, what is going to happen? And what's going to happen throughout the whole thing? And then obviously we get to the end. Then it happens, and then I thought the story had ended, and then you kind of flip over, and Sad Lemon in the Lee cover will kind of give it away, and we're introduced to the Winter Soldier, Logan, Wolverine. I'm more interested to see what Ultimate Wolverine happens than I am in this. Is this a one shot? Because the way it ended seemed like it was a one shot. It was a one shot.
It is a one shot, Charlie, but. I mean, you know, the prelude to the relaunch of the Ultimate Universe was all about these characters in the story. It's basically, remember the Maker goes back to our universe, and then he comes back and he stops everybody from being born with powers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm presuming the Ultimates comic, which I've not been reading, is kind of giving you the background to what's going on in this, if that makes sense.
I did like the fact in it when Nick Fury turns around and goes, well, it's like reading a bloody comic book. Does anyone read these anymore?
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. It was kind of like opening the forbidden door, talking about a comic book in a comic book and stuff. Fuzzy has said, I didn't bother with this. I've been burnt too many times with the Ultimate titles this year, stuck with Spidey, but the rest are horching. I've got to agree with you, mate. I think if this wasn't a one shot, I wouldn't continue reading it. But I'm looking forward to reading the Wolverine one, because I think that'd be a pretty good addition to this. But overall, I think it was okay. I just felt like it was missing a bit, and I felt a bit lost to start with, which is never a good thing, because the first thing I did was click on it and say 36 pages. Fuck.
I was exactly the same. That's the first thing. I don't know if it's a telling time at the minute for my comic reading, but that's the first thing I look at is how many pages, specifically with no disrespect, but a book like this that I would normally pick up that I know that I have to read and get through so we can have this conversation. And
sorry to interrupt, mate, but when you do that, do you do it to think I've got 36 pages to get through, or do you do it and think, how long is it going to take me to read this shit?
A bit of both, to be honest with you. A bit of both. Yeah. I think if you go into not wanting to read it and with that sort of negative undertone, then you tend to come out of it having gone, oh, that was a bit And
Yeah. Mhm.
for me, like I haven't read the stuff before. I think I've read one issue where the maker was set up, so I was aware of who the maker was. But I I just thought this was a wee bit pointless, and I don't know if it was just because I didn't really have a relationship with any of the characters that were in it, or nor would I be reading any of the stuff that it's setting up to do.
Mhm.
Nick Fury for me isn't, a really interesting character, and I just felt like there was a lot of kind of a fancy writing and you
Yeah.
know big words used in certain places and convoluted dialogue to kind of describe something that was a little bit pointless. There was nothing that really happened. I was dying for something to happen, and then the twist at the end I didn't understand. So I came away from this book a little bit none the wiser, to be honest.
Fuzzy said it surprised him to see win the vote.
You,
I
me
think
both.
I think if I'm being honest, what was the other one up for the vote? I can't actually remember. I think it was this, and I think it was. Let me just have a quick look. It was the Batman Dark Patterns, and it was also Parliament of Rooks. Batman Dark Patterns. I looked today. Obviously, the comic had already been chosen, but Batman Dark Patterns was now sitting level with it. For me, Batman Dark Patterns was amazing.
Yeah, I've not
I
read that
really, really enjoyed it.
I haven't read it either.
I think I've made it known this year that since Chip Zdarsky took over Batman,
He says this every single show.
it hasn't been good.
Somebody ring the Chip Zdarsky bell, please.
But yeah, can you imagine how many pounds in a pot would go every time I see Chip Zdarsky? But yeah, Batman Dark Patterns was really great. So if you read that, it did surprise me that this one kind of hit the vote. There we go. See, I knew Fazzy had my back. There we go. Batman Dark Patterns.
I know Fuzzy had said last week that book was really good, and it just so happened that I picked it as the one to try and win the vote. But yeah, for me, I didn't even read that last little story at the end where the Inhuke Lee cover was sort of
that was actually pretty decent, to be fair. I think if there was a whole story, I was interested about the whole story of the backstory of that, how that came into fruition, instead of the whole story of the Ultimates. I like Nick Fury as a character. I think he's great, but I think it was just, I think we've blurred the lines a bit. I don't know what you feel, Pete.
I'm just having a quick look through it to see how easy it is to read. I mean, there's a blurb at the start setting the scene for it and stuff like that. It is I think you've got to have read some of the original run and some of the background to it to perhaps understand who the characters are and things. I guess I'm a bit of a Marvel geek, so
yeah,
I like seeing different takes on characters I'm used to, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I can completely get why you guys maybe didn't get the same experience as I did.
Go on, Andy. I think you was going to go, but I'll go. Go on.
I don't know if I've fallen out of love with comics over the last 2 or 3 months, and I'm really hoping that I was going to actually say to you boys, what's your New Year's resolutions that we can maybe talk about?
Ladies and gentlemen, we weren't going to announce this, but this is the last show, ever show. We've got 3 people on here that are falling out of love with comics, and there's no point doing a comic review show if you don't like comics.
but it is. It
is true. It is true. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just life that gets in the way or just busy with work, but I don't know. I need to, there's a switch. I feel as if it needs to be flicked.
I fluctuate, mate. I go from reading, if we read a good comic for the show, I'll literally come off the show and then I'll read another few comics and I'll be buzzing and then I'll carry on. If we read a shit comic for the show, I'm kind of like, I can't be bothered. It's like I need to find my comic mojo again.
Yeah,
and it's like, I'm not bothered. But with this, it was like, I've got a question for you before you go on, Pete. You talk about the blurb. So in this is very blurb heavy. It's like Nick Fury is telling us the story. How do you do that? Do you read all of Nick Fury's things on the page first and then go back and read the story speech bubbles, or do you read it blurb, speech bubble, blurb, speech bubble?
Panel by panel.
Yeah, panel by panel.
Okay.
Yeah, panel by panel.
But in a different voice.
Yeah.
I'll do that as well. Yeah.
No, I do the same. I think it's interesting whether you fall out of love with comics or not, because I'm the same as you, Andy. We've been talking before about how much, and you're the same, Charlie, I'm sure, how much time you've got to dedicate to reading comics. Mm-hmm. I fell into a bit of a trap halfway through this year because I was doing a YouTube show, really, where I was trying to read every new comic that came out so I could talk about them. And it ended up, I just fell out of love with it. And I was just reading for reading's sake. I think sometimes we kind of push ourselves into reading stuff that we don't really want to read.
Mhm.
Whereas you say it's interesting because for me, this got me interested again in the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
And I'll probably go back and pick up a few more books because I enjoyed it, you know.
Andy rang me crying.
Yeah, so
I can't do this.
so you know, I
can't do
got
it.
a little bit of excitement back, I guess, against this Ultimate Universe.
So
But there are a lot of books I would just skip past these days.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, for example, Adi, using it as an example, we might talk about it later on. There's a great, well, it's not great, sorry. There's a Rodney Barnes book out at the moment, Batman versus werewolves, basically.
Yes. Batman Full Moon.
That should be right up my street. I read the first issue and it was just flat. And I've seen other issues coming out, and I just can't bring myself to read it because I think I haven't got time. I'm kind of age. I'm gonna die soon. There's only so many more comics I can read. And it might
what
be
a positive lot we are.
It might be great, but it's like I'd rather pick something I want to actually enjoy, or I know I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, look, DVH freaks everyone out when I sit in the toilet and read all the characters in different voices. That's called schizophrenia, mate. That's when you got all these different people talking. But I think overall, maybe Andy shouldn't read Marvel anymore. Maybe we should just become the Killer Comic Show for indies.
No, what we should do is
some of the indie stuff he picks is shite. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Precious metals. There's half an hour.
You never going to get negative anymore, Peter.
Me.
I've got an idea, guys. Why in 2025? And Fuzzy we trust. I think we all agree on that. So why doesn't Fuzzy reads pretty much everything, I believe. So why doesn't Fuzzy choose what we review? Because I trust that he knows a good comic when he reads one.
I'd go with that. Yeah.
I'd go with that. I'd go with a fuzzy fact of the week. Fuzzy
pick of the week. There we go.
Fuzzy pick of the week. So, Ultimate Universe issue number 1. 1 year in, 1 year done, 1 year gone. There we go. That's it. Overall, won't be picking it up again, probably because it was a one shot. But oh well. So, moving swiftly on. Should we have a quick check of the vote? This is it's a fucking landslide at the moment. So we've got Andy in 10%, third place.
Oh, Peter's winning again.
We've got Charlie, 20%, second place. We've got Peter with 70% of the votes, right? 70%, and there's been 45 votes.
That's a shame. 45 votes.
There's been 45 votes. Pete, you're first.
I don't believe there's been 45 votes.
Have a look.
Listen, this has been 10 votes. I've got 10%, so that's one vote, and it was me who voted for myself.
Yeah.
So screw you guys.
No, there we go. There we go. Fuzzy has said, I suggest, Ted, previously, you need to stick with the title rather than just read random books that nobody knows who votes for. Okay. And then we've got Fuzzy Fact Time. Go on then. The Northeast has the greatest variety of ginger hair in the world. There are 47 shades of red hotness around the time. Fact. Fucking hell. DVH, why not put one comic to the audience vote and have one comic you all definitely want to read?
Because that means there's 2 comics we have to read. Oh no.
Exactly. Or
it's hard. Are we just being negative? Are we just being negative? Because without doing it this way, I wouldn't have read some of the books that I've fallen in love with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just happens that this week you guys haven't liked this particular book. So and we've
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it was shit.
Yeah. We'll have a think. I don't know.
Can someone read it to me? I think it's the actual reading of the comic. You know, can someone just read it to me or phone me up and just
audio books? Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
That'll be good.
Remember that time we tried to do a podcast? Didn't work.
Do you remember that time we tried to? No.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. There we go. So moving swiftly on, talking about the darkness, we're going dark now with the indie picks for December 25th. That's next week.
Can't remember what I picked.
Yes. Up first, I have this from Comics Tribe. We have Sync issue number 13. Now, I might be burned at the stake for this, but this is written by John Lees and the art by the incredible Alex Cormack. I have never read Sync.
What?
Never.
Get off.
Honestly, I've never read it, and I don't fucking know why. I'm confused. I don't know
because you
why.
don't like reading comics and you're in a bit of an end of year lull. And
but do you know what?
Just me. No, okay.
I've bought the trade paperback of this, and I'm looking forward to reading it over the Christmas holidays, which is why I've picked Sync issue number 13. John is a fantastic guy. As much as I'm a close friend of Dan Panosian, Pete is a close friend of Alex Cormack and John Lees. He gets them on and he annoys them at any opportunity he can to get them on his show just for votes. And it works. We love you, Pete. But this is one of their best stories they have done. It is incredible from the first, I don't know, I think I read a panel when I flipped through John's book when he was at Thought Bubble. It's fucking awesome. It's dark, but it's awesome. And issue number 13, in Glasgow, 1954, local children are being brutally murdered. The killer remains at large, and the kids at Sink Hill Primary are convinced the one responsible for these terrible crimes is Iron Tooth Jack, the Gorbals vampire. A group of kids goes to the massive cemetery known as the Necropolis to hunt for the vampire, and 10-year-old Chrissy reluctantly joins their ranks. Her real life is hard enough that she has little time for tall tales of the supernatural, but she will soon experience horror that will alter the course of her life forever. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm in. Anyone else?
Yep, so I've got this already. I've read this. So
these are all real places, actually, that
Yep.
are mentioned.
Are they really?
Gorbals, the Necropolis.
Wow. Okay.
That's where the cathedral is, and Sink Hill is, I think, a play on words of Sight Hill, where it's a rough and ready part of Glasgow. Oh, there's no place like that.
So I've read this one, and it is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So just in case you aren't aware, basically, I think we're up to issue 16 or 17 now. Sink has been being released via Kickstarter for the last year or so.
Okay.
But they've now managed to get a deal to get it back in comic shops. So they've gone back to issue 12, I think was the first issue that it went out into shops.
That's what confused me, because when you go on League of Comic Book Geeks, it says it up to issue 16, but I was kind of like, well, how comes this is coming out after the fact? I didn't. Okay. Right, okay.
Brilliant series. Love it. Love it.
Nice one. So, yes, this is Sync issue number 13. We have... Oh, before we do that, let's go into the chat. So we've got new Sync. Dead Man has said, fancy that, having to read 2 comics on a comic review show. What are you thinking of? Dead Man's also said he has this in his subs. Sync is amazeballs. We've got the high heel wearing Wayne Deacon. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much. And we have Fuzzy done one panel review. That's the new segment. There we go. Bish bash bosh. Hi, DVH. Hi, Fuzzy. Thank you very much. Right. I do apologise, Pete. Take it away.
No bother. So I have dropped out of Void Rivals a little bit. So I've not read the latest issues. But this cover just jumped straight out of us. So for those that don't know, that is Von Hood. Correct us in the chat if I've got it wrong. I think that's Hot Rod rather than Rodimus Prime. Rodimus Prime being
that's my nickname. How did you
Rodimus Prime? Yeah. Rodimus Prime being who Hot Rod becomes when he gets the Matrix of Leadership and all the rest of it. I love a bit of Hot Rod, so I spotted this cover and I just thought, yep, time to pick up Void Rivals again and catch up and see where we've got.
It is
the
Hot
last
Rod.
few issues,
Yes,
it is Hot Rod, good stuff. The last few issues I read, Springer was in it, and it was spot on. So I don't know, much like Andy was saying, really, I kind of just stopped reading it, and I don't know why, because I was enjoying it. I think I just missed a few issues, and you forget, don't you? So yeah, I'm keen to pick this back up. I know Andy will be desperate to read this one because I know he loves a bit of bot action, don't you, Andy?
Well, you'll be glad to hear that I picked up Bumblebee Lego set this week.
And it's wicked, though, to be fair. And
so I don't dislike Transformers that much. Honestly, seen 2025, I'm going to reread them all, and it's going to be a new Andy, and I'm going to be positive and a little less Scottish. I promise, guys. I promise.
Hold on. I just hear a pig fly.
It's not a pig, it's a haggis. Stop it.
It's a haggis. It's a flying haggis. There we go. Flying haggis. But for me, Void Rivals has been better than Transformers. I think Void Rivals has been wicked. And for me, when I first started reading Void Rivals, I got up to issue 4 and I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. And now I think I'm 2 issues behind. I'm on issue 13, but it's been wicked. It's been really, really good. So yes, if you're not reading this, definitely get back on it. And DVH has also said you need to get back on Void Rivals. It's really good. And the the recent David Nakayama for Transformers is magnificent. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Absolutely decent. But yes.
Just on a slight side note, if I may, because we're talking nostalgia shade, you know my feelings on the recent Thundercats run and how upset I'm being.
You loved it. What are you talking about?
I just noticed there's a new series starting. They're doing a spin-off, and it's got Declan nowhere near it by the looks of it. So I am hyper excited. So I'm hoping beyond hope that that's a decent little series. It's about, if you've seen Thundercats Ho the movie, it's the kind of the other cats that landed on Third Earth, Bengal and Linkso, all those kind of characters. So it looks really interesting. Looks cool. I think
we live in hope.
It's pitched as if you're looking at X-Men, it's like the X-Force version of Thundercats. So that sounds interesting.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
Nice. So the Thunder Kittens. Yeah. There we go. Thunder Kittens. We'll go with that. And then we've got.
Yeah, I went for Dust to Dust issue #1, written by Phil Bram and J.G. Jones on the artwork. This is from Image Comics. The synopsis reads: a tormented Oklahoma sheriff and a scrappy photojournalist hunt a serial killer at the height of the dust-choked Great Depression. So this is part of so this is the first suspense-filled issue of the new Giant Generator limited series.
Oh, wow, okay.
Jones, teaming up with co-writer Phil Bram, spins an unforgettable yarn of desperation, murder, and resilience in the beautifully hand-painted story of Americana and the primal grip of brutality.
This, do you know what this reminds me? This kind of reminds me of, what was that? It's a massive computer game, and it was a TV show on Amazon Prime. I think you both were watching it.
Fallout.
I just get Fallout vibes from this, and I see this a couple of weeks ago. It looks wicked. It looks really, really good. So yeah, I'm definitely, Andy, you've done it again. I'm looking forward to reading this. We have the Reverend in the house, Reverend Ev. Eatings from El Salvador. It's very hot here. Oh, for God's sake, there we go.
El Salvador.
Thunder Kittens, almost better than Thunder Pussy. Jesus, there we go. And that's after a curry. Got to order this. Supposed to be pretty good. Great review so far. There we go. And it is Fallout, of course. Yes. Fallout was a great show.
Yeah,
it was an awesome show. And it's been commissioned for a second season, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so interesting arena. But yeah, Andy, this looks wicked, man. Nice one. So is this kind of like a new universe, the J.G. Jones universe thing?
It's part of, I think it's almost, I think it's like the Ghost Machine type situation. So I think he's set up his own sort of sub spin-off series from Image. So yeah, should be good.
Nice. I'm definitely going to look forward to reading this. Is that all of them? It is. Jesus.
Under your voice there.
All of them. It's all of them. There we go. All of them. So yes, got it, Pete. You sure you're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, moving on. So we are now at the Killer Trades and Hardcovers, December 25th. Yes, it's the
private joke
festive weekend. So up first, talking of Nightwing, I've gone for Nightwing Standing at the Edge, the trade paperback. This is written by Tim Taylor and the art is by Stephen Bryan. I'm reading this. I think it's great. I love the first arc. I think this is wicked. It's awesome. Nightwing for me, Pete, is I'm a bit like you. I think he's one of my favourite characters, and I think I massively got into him, excuse the pun, when I was watching DC Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Titans was wicked. I don't know if you ever watched it, Andy, but Titans was wicked. It was everything that Suicide Squad should have been. In a weird way, I thought it was a wicked TV show, really, really good. The ending was it. The acting in it was really, really good. And the story here by Tom Taylor, he's been on it for a while now, and it doesn't seem to be giving up. I think it's really, really good. Absolutely loving it. So I have gone for this. Will any of you be picking it up?
I've been saying I'm a big Nightwing fan, and I absolutely am. I go back all the way to the Chuck Dixon run and all the rest of it. I've not read him regularly for a couple of years, so at some point I do want to go back and pick up a lot of this run because it's meant to have had some good stuff. I read one issue a while ago. Can't remember if I read it on here or not. where it was like a silent issue or something, or it was through his eyes, so you only saw what he was seeing as he was
Yes,
jumping around.
yeah.
That was quite a cool
Yeah.
issue. I like that.
Yeah. Andy, out of DC characters, who's your favourite?
Lobo.
Lobo. Okay. Yeah. Why not? There we go. Sorry, that was my only question. Would you be picking up this?
Will I be picking up this? No.
No. Okay. Cool. Moving on.
That's me. So I've gone for a bit of nostalgia, a bit of classic Rob Liefeld crotch action and missing feet and all the rest of it. This is X-Force Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover. Do you know what? Looking back in the day when New Mutants ended and we got the new series of X-Force, I freaking loved it. So I know it's probably not aged well. But it's got some of my all-time favourite characters in there. I love Cannonball, probably is my favourite X-Man. I love Shatterstar, Boom Boom, all that kind of stuff.
Say that again.
Boom Boom. I love a bit of Boom Boom.
Was that Sex Talk? Shatterstar Boom Boom.
Shatterstar me Boom Boom. So yeah, I get.
Wow.
I get what Fuzzy's saying that the cover's minging. It is. It's Rob Liefeld at his best, isn't it? But it's classic and it's representative of the book of the time. So yeah, I'll be picking this up just for nostalgia, really.
I just think that is an horrendous cover. We don't do Arg My Eyes anymore, but if we did, I think that'd be on it.
Rob Liefeld. I think you're being unfair.
Yeah, I think it should come with like a dust jacket that's just feet, just like a dust jacket of feet. That'd be cool.
Remember when Andy watched the Deadpool trailer and was sure I was secretly telling me that the snake people were going to be in it? Remember?
Yeah.
What was that again? What was the shop called? I can't remember. Serpent Society. That was it, wasn't it?
Yes, that was it.
Because it had Rob Liefeld's shoes or something, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. So we've had Nightwing. We've had, I can't remember what you said, but it was like your come to bed sex talk about this, chatting on my shit chats or something, whatever you said. But then moving on, we have. Ooh, I totally forgot about this.
Yeah, so did I. Probably for good reason, to be fair. This is the Ambassadors. This is a library edition hardcover. Mark Miller on writing and Frank Quietly on artwork. And you'll probably recall, I think we read maybe all the issues of this, didn't we?
Yeah.
So this collects issues 1 to 6, 216 pages, and apparently this is an oversized edition. So it comes in a sort of lovely, sexy case as well.
Nice.
So I think they're going all out for this. So yeah, that's my pick.
I think it's ironic that it's a library edition and the art is Frank Quietly. There's things like that make me laugh. Sorry, I said that out loud, didn't I? Shit. Sorry.
Yeah. Has there been any more from the Ambassadors since Big Game?
No, absolutely nothing.
They were literally that series was literally set up to get them bumped off, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it did a good job until it came back in the library edition. I think out of everything that Mark Miller's written, I think it was the weakest story. And I think, as you said, these group of ambassadors were just set up for Nemesis to kill in Big Game.
Yeah, and can I be crushingly honest? I mean, I quite enjoyed the story, I have to be honest. I love Frank Quietly's artwork. I think his work, and Andy will not like it, but his work on Superman is stunning. That, for me, is a pretty boring cover.
Yeah.
It doesn't... No, do you know what I mean? If you didn't know what the story was about, I'm not sure that would make us rush to pick up the book.
What you normally find a lot of the times with these hardcovers, though, is that there isn't a final, like, that what they showed isn't necessarily the final cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this is the cover that's going to be on the dust jacket, then yeah, it's not great.
Nemesis, I was literally just about to touch on that, Fuzzy, so thanks for bringing it up. Nemesis Rose Gallery has been terrific. Nemesis is an awesome character. This is kind of like the second arc that's come on from it. Yeah, wicked. So, go on, Andy. Yeah, it was good. It was good. So, up next, we have, this is the Killer Comic Show 2024 review. We have picked various slides. We've picked killer covers. killer books, killer comics, killer artists, killer writers, from what we think have done absolutely amazing stuff throughout the year. So up first, we have the killer cover of the year. This is my pick. I have gone, we mentioned this earlier, this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue #1. This is the Midtown Comic exclusives by one and only Dan Panosian. This is the comic I was talking about that he did the line work for. He did the sketches and he showed the raw images and everything on his Instagram, Facebook, and X and stuff like that. For me, this is incredible. Like this, basically, it captures everything. It's the way that he's done it. When you break it down in the different sketches that he's done, it's absolutely amazing. And this is why I have picked it. And I think, Andy, we shared a conversation on how bloody good it was as well.
Look, the background alone, like the amount of time that and the attention to detail on this is absolutely superb. But yeah, I think we mentioned without the colours and just the original line work on this is absolutely stunning. Did that ever come out as a variant cover? Just the black and white?
No, I don't think it did. Like looking on League of Comic Books, it's this, and then it's also got the Japanese writing, but the title, instead of it being in green, it actually says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's illuminated in like the green and the orange. But it would have been awesome to have.
Oh, they're definitely missing a trick.
Yeah,
If they made that like a 1 in 100, I'd have probably had to consider it, to be fair.
Yeah, Peter.
I don't think I've ever seen this one. I can't remember having seen this cover. We've not had it on the show or anything like that.
No.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that it's. I don't know. I don't want to be rude. I don't know what language that is. I'm presuming is it Chinese or something. I don't know. I like that type font. I just think it looks. I think the image of April.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And the turtle heads are superb. So yeah, I love it. Really, really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. It would be interesting to read a whole comic of Dan's art, like of him doing the art in internals and stuff like that. I think that'd be
nice, very nice. Decent. I like that one.
Decent. So that's what I've gone for, IDW. Then we have
that's nice.
Yeah, I went for so I found this a real challenge and exercise to pick the best cover of the year, considering all the covers that I've been through over the 50 or so shows that we've had. But I went for Wonder Woman issue #7 by Souza Maika because of all the covers that I picked each week, and some have won, some haven't. This is probably one of a handful that I've actually picked up and purchased. So I have this one, and I have it as the foil cover as well. And I know a lot of times you say you really need to see it in hand to appreciate it. With this cover, you really do, because the detail is amazing, absolutely amazing.
No, I think it's like Souza Maika. She's again 2022, 23, didn't really hear much about it, but 24, she's literally again just come out. She's put so much out, some very, very good stuff as well. So yeah, I like this. I think I'll pick this up as well.
Love it. I think when we talked about it on the show, I just think it's stunning. It's a real good representation of Diana, isn't it? I think it's stunning. I love the hair. I think the hair looks incredible.
Yeah.
Fuzzy has said, I'm not sure if he's talking about this one or he's talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, but I think he's definitely said he's getting it. But yeah, this is a great cover as well. And then Peter, look at that.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I'm a nerd for a variant cover or a kind of a gimmick cover as well. And I thought the day of glow in the dark covers and shit like that had gone. And then this came out, and I just think the fact it's glow in the dark jumps out at us. I think the imagery is perfect. I love that werewolf. I love the Batman. I love the muscles work on his cape and all the rest of it. And then I think I agree with Andy. It's a really hard year to pick a good cover or the best cover. I just think for this one, we've talked a lot over the year about shit title placement. I don't know why. I just love the way this is set up with the title in the center and then bats above, the werewolf below. I just think it's stunning, absolutely stunning. It's such a shame the comic was cack, or not to my taste. But yeah, I love this. I think it's great.
I didn't realise this was.
I've got about 4 copies of this bugger.
I didn't realise it was glow in the dark.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if they're all. I got 4 copies of the glow in the dark one. I don't know if they were all glow in the dark.
I don't think I ever read this. I think I see the
read it on the show.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how good it was, because I didn't remember it. I didn't bloody remember it. But I think it's a great cover. No, I think it's a really, really good cover.
Stunning.
Yeah, great pick, them. And it's dark label, black label as well, so it would have been a bit out there. I don't remember. Andy, what do you think?
I'm surprised that Peter went with this cover of all the covers that are out there. It would have been my choice, but I get the fact that because it's glow in the dark, it adds a little bit of extra boom to it. So, here's a question for you guys. I know that we're running out of time, but what was your number 2 pick? Did you have one? Did you consider one? Should I start?
I didn't really.
I did. My number 2 pick was the Sousa Micah Black Canary cover.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That was mine.
Surprisingly enough, mine was a Jock cover, and I went for the one with Godzilla. And remember the one that you?
Yes, that's an awesome cover. Yeah. That was a really, really good cover.
Again, that in actual person and seeing that, the detail was amazing.
I would, if I was going for a second pick, I would have to spend friggin' hours going through all of the recent Mark Spears work, because his covers are just mind blown. But I don't know how I would pick one out of all of them. But it would definitely be a Mark Spears, I think.
Fuzzy ended up ordering the entire set of these. They're all glow in the dark. It'd be interesting to see what you guys in the chat was what your cover of the pick was.
Yeah.
Cover of the year pick would be. So that's the covers of the year. Just heading over to the vote because we're on covers of the year. Me and Andy are now tied in 17%, and Peter has dropped with 67%. It's 12 votes, so it's still time. So up next we have gone for the comic of the year.
Yes, Killer Comic of the Year. Again, another difficult choice, but the one that stood out most for me and probably surprised me most, simply because it's Marvel and the characters that are involved, was Avengers Twilight, written by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna on artwork. I don't know what books you guys have picked, but I would say this one was close to as a perfect, what was it, 5 or 6 issue run?
6.
And it was just, everything was just great about it. There was no flaws in the story. I thought the artwork was superb, and it was consistent across the 6 issues. And it wasn't one of those ones where you thought, you know what, I need a little bit more, or they've done too much. It just ended perfectly, and it was just a great story. And this particular cover is the cover for the trade paperback, if anybody's interested in getting it. So yeah, this was my pick.
Superb.
This is what I want Marvel to constantly be. A whole story, a whole universe around this I'm all in for it. I'm all in for it. I think that would be great. So yes, an awesome pick. Avengers Twilight. Oh, another good one.
So I was torn. So I did a show on Tuesday where we did a very similar thing where we looked at our favorite comic of the year, and my pick on that show was Avengers Twilight. And for all the reasons you've just said, Andy, I absolutely love Avengers Twilight. I gushed like a proper soppy fanboy to Chip Zdarsky at Thought Bubble and told him it was the best book I've ever read. He looked at us like I was insane, particularly when I started quoting bits. You know what I mean? You're like, oh yeah, get him away. So I decided I didn't want to do the same book for this show. So now, Beneath the Trees, I think there's no denying, for me personally, the last issue didn't really do what I wanted or needed to do. But I'm not letting that take away from the fact that it was, I think, one of the best books of the year. I think it was just so fresh and different, and the art was stunning. I thought it was clever. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, Beneath the Trees for me. Looking forward to the sequel, which is coming out next year.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree with that. There's nothing I can't really comment on it.
I would say this was a book that surprised me in a lot of ways, because I fell in love with it, fell out of love with it, and then fell back in love with it, all within the what, 5 or 6 issues. Was it 6 issue run? This one?
Something like that. 6,
yeah.
And I think the reason why I fell back in love with it was because every single time I read an issue, I was looking for Easter eggs in it. I was looking for little things that would tell us what's going to happen. And I think the amount of discussion that we had on the show about what would happen in the next issue, That is the beauty
Yeah.
of comic books and
Yeah.
reading, and that's what I want. I want another book like this to get back into the vibe and get that same feeling again. And I think maybe that's what's been lost since maybe reading this book. Is that there's been nothing that's kind of piqued their interest or piqued my interest. But this was definitely a top book for me.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's great. I think, and I did what you did as well. I kind of went round again around the old previous issues and looked if I could find anything that kind of ended with it. It's wicked. I really, really, really enjoyed it. So we have that, and then I have gone for Image. I've gone for Ain't No Grave. I think everyone can agree that this is a comic that didn't have a lot of words. But I think the underlying meaning of this whole story, the art was incredible. Scott Young wrote a really, really good story. I think there was one issue where there was literally no panels of writing apart from the last panel. And I just think it said it, like, for me, this really, really was good. It touched on like a whole family orientation and like the love lost between a mum, a daughter, and a family, and how they'll go to the ends of the earth to do anything for their family and stuff. I just think this was bloody awesome, and I think each one of them comics that you picked, I would have chosen. And I think that's the good thing about this show, because the 3 comics that we've chosen, each one of us would have picked it. So it could have been any of our slides. But yeah, I've gone for this. I don't know what you guys thought.
This would have been my number 2 pick. I thought this was very close to being a perfect book. This was in kind of the same sort of lineup as The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. I got those vibes because it was a book that made me think afterwards and that was really thought-provoking. And when you understand and read those 6 issues and get the underlying story and feeling that it's trying to portray, I don't think Scott Young gets enough credit for his writing. And Georgia Corona's artwork was superb on this. So yeah, this was a very close second for me.
So I didn't have the same experience reading this book as you guys did. I read the first issue and it completely turned me off. I just didn't get it or enjoy it. And then I think we were reading the last issue for the show or something. So I went back and reread the entire thing, so I was up to speed. I think it was great. There was some bits that didn't quite float my boat, but the last issue really got us back. I loved the last issue. I think we're safe to go into spoilers now. I loved the fact that it would have been very easy to tie this up in a kind of a sickly sweet comic book fashion with everything's tickety-boo and great. I love the fact that they didn't do that. That they said, actually, hang on, you're a friggin' assassin. You've been killing people all your life. Of course you're not going to get you happy ever after. And I just thought, you know what, that big balls to Scotty Young for actually ending it on an honest kind of, it would have diminished the story if she'd gone back and lived happily ever after.
100%.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the.
And I think the way that it happened as well, I think the way that it happened was a bit like, it's like the end of a movie when you don't expect the twist. DVH has said, Avengers Twilight was indeed excellent. Efren has said, if done right, the big 2 in comics can make great stories after all these years, even though characters have been around almost as long as me. And then we've got Dead Man has said, beneath the trees, Avengers Twilight, Ain't No Grave, and The Displaced were one of my favourites this year. No DC in sight, which is weird. Yeah, very, very weird. We've kind of gone we strayed away from DC, and I thought we would have had a comic of the year in there, but unfortunately not. Well, actually, it's not unfortunate. So that's that comic of the year. We've gone to Killer Publisher of the Year. Now, Andy, these are your picks these were your 4 picks, the Image for the Publisher of the Year.
I went for Image as my Publisher of the Year. It's funny because obviously we were in conversation about tonight's show, and you were like, "Can you send 4 covers?" And I didn't get the chance to. But I think it was testament to how well Image is done, because I was able to write more 4 books straight away that I really enjoyed. So you've got Blood Commandment, The Deviant, Salmon Twitch, and The Infernos. Just 4 examples of really great books that Image have brought out. A lot of discussion as to whether they're still considered an indie publisher or not. They're just a great publisher as far as I'm concerned, and I'm looking forward to see what they bring out in 2025.
I think it's pretty hard because obviously, as the Killer Publisher of the Year, Image have featured very, very heavily on this show, massively. I actually can't think of a cover that we haven't done that isn't by Image, or we haven't had a story that hasn't been written by Image, and I think that's testament for how well they have and how well they've kind of changed our perspective of reading and stuff. But like asking you to pick 4 comics is pretty hard because they put out so much this year. But for you to reel them off in literally 2 minutes was pretty decent.
I forgot all about Blood Commandment. I'm gutted about that because that had
Yeah.
some stunning covers as well. Love that series. Really good. And Infernals.
Yeah. So Andy, this was your
Sure.
pick. It was a good year for Anna. And then up next we've got I've also gone for Image. I've gone for The Sacrificers, The Moon is Following Us, Transformers in, and I Hate Fairyland. You can see our difference in reading. We all read Image and stuff like that, but the difference is, Andy, you're very adult read. Me, I'm like a fucking kid. But you know, we've all got our different traits. Again, Daniel Warren Johnson has featured very heavily for Image Comics. He's had Transformers, he's had The Moon is Following Us. The Sacrificers was awesome. I kind of only got back onto it when the trade paperback came around. I managed to pick it up, and I've always been a massive follower of I Hate Fairyland. Like, Gert is one of my favourite characters, so to be able to read that and it's still going on strong now is
February, Charlie. I don't know how you collect I Hate Fairyland, but I've been getting it in the hardcover volumes,
Yeah,
like
so
the
have I,
luminous pink and
yeah.
the luminous green ones.
Yeah.
So this new series is coming out as a volume 3 in February.
Okay.
So there's a new luminous kind of cut. I think I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
definitely pick that
I need charging. Yeah, no, my phone is charging again. It does that every night, doesn't it?
I thought it was Andy.
Somebody plug me in. Oh, you have? Ooh.
So yes, so I again have gone for Image as well. But then, Pete, you've also gone for Image as well.
I've gone for Image, but I've gone for the Ghost Machine universe. I don't think any of us would say that they aren't up there with the top publishers this year, particularly the Ghost Machine imprint, because I can't think of a bad book. Even the ones that I've not particularly been blown away with that we've read over the last few weeks from the kind of, what do you call it, the family universe, the Rocket Fellas or whatever and stuff like that, have still been all right reads. But those 4 you've got on screen there, Charlie, Geiger, Rook Exodus, Redcoat and Hyde Street, some of the best books I've ever read. Geiger probably is one of my favorite stories of all time now. I'm loving it, absolutely loving it.
And I think the same thing. Ghost Machine all day. Image have nailed it. Tom, good evening, sir. Just swinging in to say hi. Some epic choices for the end of the year pick. Love the publisher and love Ain't No Grave made the cut. Great show as always, Wes. Thank you very much, sir. Efren has also said, when new books come out, you're all excited about reading them, but then it doesn't come out for a few months and you lose interest. Definitely, 100%. Deadman has also said Image, definitely. And then Deviator said the Deviants should be on that list, but they have screwed the pooch on the ending because of the delays. There we go. Exactly. So yeah, Killer Pub. I think I've got to agree with you here, Pete. Ghost Machine is. I think they're going to be massive next year. I think we've still got stories within Geiger. Rook Exodus has been incredible. Redcoat has been sensational, and then Hyde Street. I'm loving the way that they're kind of setting up a whole new universe in this.
I'm going to say something controversial that Andy might not like. I think Ghost Machine is the imprint that Distillery wanted itself to be. I think people are
should have said that before.
Yeah, I think I think Ghost Machine has just taken everything by storm. Quality storytelling, affordable books. I just love it. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. I don't know where people think that I'm a massive Distillery fan just because I read the books. I don't know where that comes from, but Ghost Machine, Rook Exodus was the book that really triggered my imagination. Again, until they bring out that toy line, I will not be a happy puppy. And I also want Hyde Street action figures as well, please. So, Ghost Machine, could you get on that, please?
Well, they've done a junkyard Joe.
Yeah, they've got a junkyard Joe. We've gone.
So.
Yeah. Fuzzy has said, my series of the year was Grommets, another Image title. There we go, wicked. Efren has then said, we're all kids when we read the comics. That's what makes them so great to read. He's just nicked an Andy special, and I think Rook takes it for me because I already love Geiger. Rick blew me away. Rook blew him away. And there we go. And I want Hyde Street trading cards. So that was the Killer Publisher of the Year. Moving on to Killer Writer of the Year and Killer Artist of the Year. I've gone for James Tynion. He's been non-stop this year. He's put so much out. He's still doing Something Is Killing the Children. He's got the Something Is Killing the Children sub stories. He's got what was the other ones he's put out? The one from DC. Yes. He's there's so much put out, and he doesn't seem to stop. And I think you can tell that because he's lost so much weight. He literally looks like a different human being from when we first see him in 2021, 22 even to now 2024. So he's seriously working hard. But he's put some amazing stuff out there. DC, Image, Marvel, whatever he does, he kind of turns to gold. And then obviously he started his own publishing company like Tiny Onion and stuff like that. So that's taken off. And then I've gone for the Killer Artist of the Year. I think this was an absolute no-brainer. It's the one and only Dan Notion.
Is that how you lose weight? Just like write lots of comic books? I should really start writing some comic books.
Well, I think he's literally just. I don't think he's stopped. I think he's been non-stop, so he probably hasn't had time to, I don't know, do anything else. He's locked himself away and just literally wasted away.
He does look incredible.
He's definitely transitioned into a different person, but the quality of the writing has stayed exactly the same. And what I found, especially this year's Thought Bubble, is he's always so nice all the time and so willing to stop and chat and just talk comics and just chill out with everybody else and the bar and stuff. So yeah, cool dude.
And then Fuzzy has said, for me, Hyde Street could end up being the best thing they do.
Great.
Issue number two was incredible. Was amazing. Was absolutely amazing. So yes, these are my two killer writers and killer artist of the year. Then we have, not much has changed, Andy.
Yeah, I went for Scott Snyder as my killer writer of the year. I find anything that I read of Scott's, I enjoy, and I am always invested in at least reading the second or third issue of the stuff that he's done. Again, another really nice person to meet. When we met him at Thought Bubble, he was very gracious in doing a little video for the Killer Comics Show as well. And we are on his very long list of podcasts and shows to come on, so that'll be fun when he does make it. And my killer artist of the year, maybe a surprise to a lot of people that it's not Jock, but I went for Dan Ocean. I think I think we've said it all really in this show and past shows. I think the levels are there this year, and I think he's done some visually stunning artwork and covers that would make a lot of people buy that book who wouldn't necessarily read that book, and I think that's a sign of a great cover artist.
Good picks.
Then we have Peter, your picks.
Yeah, writer of the year.
You picked two of each, so I've kind of just gone with the first ones that you said.
Writer of the year, Jeff Jones, and you know that this guy has been pushing out amazing stories for years and years and years now, and it just feels, particularly with Ghost Machine, things like that, the guy, a bit like you're describing with James Tynion, he mustn't sleep. He just seems to be creating superb books, well-written books. And the big thing for me, I very rarely, if ever, have seen any of his books be delayed or be late. He always seems to be churning them out on time. And I like his writing style. So yeah, I think he's amazing. I really do think he's amazing. He's a guy I'd love to get on the show and chat with.
Let's do it.
Because very, very good. Back in the day, many, many years ago, when you had the DC message boards, he was very active on that, talking about how Stargirl was related to his sister who died in an airplane crash and things like that. So I think he's a very nice guy and very interesting to chat with. Fuzzy saying issue 3 of Hyde Street delayed. Get him off the friggin' panel. Get him off the list. He's gone.
Is that a fuzzy fact?
Yeah. But yeah, very, very cool. And then my artist of the year, Simon Gransky, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. His work at the start of the year in particular on Something Epic and then Blood Commandment and all that kind of stuff, he just knocks my socks off. I think the guy doesn't get the praise and the applaud that he deserves. So yeah, I think he's amazing. And also a super nice guy. I mean, when we were talking about Something Epic on the show, he was regularly commenting and regularly, dropping into Instagram and stuff. So yeah, lovely, lovely man.
100%.
No, I fully agree with you, and I think we spoke about that. The fact is that he was probably approaching Image and comic publishers to get them to put his work out. I think it's the other way around now, 100%. Like he's awesome. Fuzzy has said, I may be a huge fan, but Scotty Young has been prolific this year. He's put out a huge amount of covers, more DC titles, Ain't No Grave, big Marvels project, hell of a year. One of my covers would have been the Frankenstein that he did.
Yeah.
That would have been my cover of the year. I thought that was amazing that he did that. That was really, really good. Efren has said, read today, Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are doing Hush sequel. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. Yeah. Peter Jeff Johns took nearly 2 years for 12 issues of JSA, but he was probably concentrating on Ghost Machine. True. And then arc number 2 of Something Epic was a great surprise. Different but equally good. Yeah, I love the fact that Howard the Duck was in it. Awesome.
I totally forgot about Simone Kudransky. I completely forgot about Scott Young as well until Fuzzy had mentioned it. Yeah, and it's not until you mention some of the comics and some of the artists and writers and things like that you remember over the last sort of 50 or so shows of the stuff that we've read and the stuff that we've forgotten. Yeah, it's been a good year. Definitely.
Yeah, it has been a very, very good year. So that was Killer Writer of the Year, Killer Artist. Then we have. Oh no, we don't have this. That was it. I think that was it. That was our year. That was it. We had the Killer Covers, Killer Writer, Killer Artist, and I think that is it. That was it. That was it, lads.
Was that it? Was that it?
That was the end of the show.
Charlie, are you sure that is it?
I think that's it. 100%. That's it. It definitely is it. There we go. It is. That's the end of the show. 10:15. What are we, 20 past 10? It's been an hour and 20 minutes that we've taken up your time. As always, you can find us over on Instagram.
Pickups.
Yes. Oh, I'm getting there. You can find us over on Instagram. You can find Triple G over. It's coming to Christmas now, so you'll find him down your local shoppers centre where you can sit on his knee, and he will tell you how many shows he's got coming out in that week. And you can find him on Instagram, YouTube. Where else can they find you, Peter?
Everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. Switch on the internet. I'm there. Just waiting.
He's there. This morning, Jeremy Kyle, everywhere. And then Andy, where can they find you if they want to?
I mean, 45 followers I've lost thus far since Thought Bubble. But if you are that way inclined, you can go to instagram.com/perpetual.comics. Much like my enthusiasm for reading comics, you'll see my enthusiasm for not posting on Instagram.
And then, on that note, you can find us over on the Killer Comic Show, where we are more than regular. We are as regular as Peter's bowel movements over on Instagram, so you can check us out at the Killer Comic Show. We don't do X anymore because no one likes.
I hate it.
So yes, before we go on to the pickups, let's do the ultimate winner of 2024. It's been enthusiastic, it's been enjoyable, and in last place, even the dog is getting in on the act.
Angels voting downstairs. Yeah,
there we go. So in last place, it's me with 15% of the votes. In second place, it's Andy with 23% of the votes, and running along with it for the third week in a row. And the ultimate winner of 2024 is Peter, with 62% of the votes.
Put on big screen. He has to say a few words.
Yes, you do.
No.
You do.
Look at the state of me hair.
What?
I'd like to thank my family, my wife, my children, everybody that's voted. It's just nice to win. It's just nice to win. Yeah, thank you.
There we go. But we're at that part of the show where everyone wants to do pickups. I'm going to go first. I haven't picked up anything. Christmas. That's it.
What about that Christmas jumper that you're wearing? That's up and up.
Yeah, there we go. Jingle Bells, Primark, Deadpool special. Pretty cool. That's about it. That's it. Up next.
You must be the only guy that ties their hoodie like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Anyway, I like it. Leave me alone. Go on, Peter.
Is it me? Right, I'll rattle through because I've got a few. I've got a shiny, foily, shiny, sexy Transformers issue number 1, which is pretty nice. Bill Skenevich exclusive. Skevich, that's one. That's nice. And Andy mentioned Brian Boland the other week, so I got jealous. So I got a signed Brian Boland book with a bit of bats.
You shouldn't have. Yeah.
Right. Last week was said I was keeping away from Whatnot, and then I didn't. So I went shiny. These are New York Comic Con exclusive foils.
Nice.
Batman, Superman.
How much did they set you back, Pete?
£400. No, do you know what? I didn't know. Wonder Woman, Flash. I got the full set.
Of course you did.
And then someone was selling a run of Thor comics. The Jane Foster Thor issue.
A run of Thor or four?
Thor. Up to issue 8 of the Jane Foster Thor run, which I liked. I got these for 30 quid, right? So there's all those issues. But the reason I really picked it up was there was a sketch cover for the first one by a guy called Greg Kirkpatrick. I think that's a fucking amazing sketch cover.
Well, that's cool.
So this was only 30 quid for all of those comics. So yeah, really nice. So I went for that. And then last, I haven't even done a video yet, so it's an exclusive. You guys heard of Batman Gotham by Gaslight?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I got the 1/6 scale action figure, and it is absolutely stunning. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Who's that, mate? That's not So Toys, is it?
No, this is SSR Figures, who are a company I don't usually use, but proper leather boots and things, leather belt. Yeah, really nice.
And the head,
very impressed with it.
You can change the head as well, can't you?
Yeah, so there's 2 head sculpts. There's a version with whited out eyes and an aggressive look. You get a whole host of accessories with them, like a grapple gun, 3 different versions of batarangs, which I don't remember I'm using in the comics. I'll have to reread the comic. But yeah, really like that. Very heavy figure, impressed for the price I paid for it. So yeah, third-party figure, very nice.
Wicked. Nice. A fuzzy fact, just while you're getting ready, Pete. Final fuzzy fact, go on. It's illegal to own only one guinea pig in Switzerland, and chins are unique to humans. Woohoo, for knowledge. But he's been questioned. Do monkeys not have chins?
Oh.
And now we're literally looking at the screen thinking, do
my
monkeys
brain's
have
about
chins?
to explode.
Do
I'm thinking
monkeys
about
have
monkey chins now.
Do fat monkeys have double chins?
Yes. Try to say something.
Off you go. Go on, Peter.
Yeah, no more beer, is that you?
Was that it? You said you got quite a few to get through, and you showed us a figure in 3 comics.
3 fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 15 comics here.
I've got a big one here. Got a big one. Oh, let me read you in. Oh, there we go.
Sponsored by Pepsi.
Sponsored by Pepsi. Take a chug.
Right. I guess I should show the comics that I picked up.
Yes, you should.
Make them big. Make them big.
No,
don't.
Ooh,
do I have the power? Can I?
No, don't. Please don't. John Tyler Christopher goodness. We had a little bit of a go. So there's a story.
That looks like a Dampen Ocean negative cover.
You were going to say that. So I picked this up on his website, and they forgot to send these. So I got this in a 9.8 and this in a 9.8. You might recall that I showed it one of the shows.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
And they forgot to send those, so they were kind enough to a quick email, and they popped them in the post for me, which is great. I picked this up. So this is quite an exclusive book. This is the Todd McFarlane Lady Death. So they only done a limited run of this. So whoever ordered it got it. How can I explain this? So they only printed the amount of orders that they got in a specific amount of time. So 48 hours, I think it was. So this is numbered. It was 4,000 apparently ordered, and I get 2,288. So this is going to go off and get slabbed, I think.
Nice.
I picked up. I can't remember if I showed this in the last show or not. So I picked this up from Hobgoblin Hideaway. Little J. Scott Campbell, New York Comic Con, foily goodness.
That's cool.
Black Cat. Can't make it out. Black Cat.
Yeah. And I got some Howard the Duck king size annual issue number 1.
Love Howard the Duck. Love Howard the Duck. Thanks, Tom. Shout out to you, mate, as well. Look at
Batman and Robin. You see the DC Universe logo? So very, very rare. Very rare. Now, slab wise, I picked us up Samurai Santa, issue number 1. First Jim Lee published artwork, and obviously not the cover. And I got it in a 9.6, which for anybody who knows this book is very difficult to get. a high grade. This gets sent all the way from America in a jiffy bag. And it managed
Was there
to
any
just get
damage?
one little piece there. Just a little crack, a little hairline crack at the back. But listen, can't complain.
Who's the
I will.
publisher on that? Who's the publisher on it?
The publisher is Solson Publications, SOLSON, 1986.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. And then I got an early Christmas present from my wife. I got Lobo.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at that.
Friggin' compendium volume number 1. So this is thousands of pages of a Lobo goodness. And I love that Simon Bisley cover.
Yeah, it's a good classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was me. That's my pickups. My
It's
Christmas.
awesome.
Very nice.
Guys, it's been amazing, as always. The end of the show. Pete, I'm sure you've got a show coming up, haven't you?
I haven't actually. No, I'm guesting on Super Sorrel's show in a week or so's time, but I've got nothing for the time being. Just chilling over Crimbo.
But exactly. It's nice to chill. We will be back in the start of the new year with some more goodness. We might have some fresh new content. But don't fix it if it isn't broken. That's what I like to say. And with that, guys,
so we probably should change
we should fix it. Yeah, guys, massive shout out to every single one that's been consistently in the chat this year. We enjoy your company, and we actually probably wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you lot in the chat, contributing every single week on Instagram, YouTube, and everything else and that. So yeah, massive shout out to you, and massive shout out to you two as well for putting up with my gibbering and jabbering and fucking rambling and my drunken escapades in Thought Bubble every year. So massive love to you guys.
You're absolutely very welcome, Charlie. And I'd just like to say, Christmas, New Year is a bit of a weird time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy to say that our DMs are open if anybody needs to chat, have a bit of a rant or whatever. And we really do mean that. And special shout out to Tom. We miss you, and we hope that you have a great New Year. And also to those who can't be with us. Everybody needs to have a good Christmas, great New Year. And we will be back in 2025, won't we, Peter?
Yes,
we will.
Yes.
And as always, be kind. See you later, everyone. Happy Christmas. See you later.